I've made no secret about it. I love documentaries. If done correctly, it can be captivating, enthralling, and give you an insight and a little behind the scenes look into the subject you are watching and get you invested in areas that you did not know or aware of. Documentaries are a unique style of filmmaking that not all directors or producers can do for the most part. Most of them stay in their lane. The documentary has lost its luster in Hollywood and rarely, if ever, brings in the millions of dollars. And it is made more to bring in eyes and awareness to certain causes or people. War documentaries was and is probably the way we all got introduced into the genre, especially in school. I remember my lazy history teacher just putting on a videotape about World War II. Gotta love that love for the job, right?
Emotional damage.
But recently, well, in the last 10 years, they have come a little bit more popular, like documentary shows like The Ancient Aliens on the History Channel and on YouTube. That is really where most go if you are looking for a documentary. I love it because I nerd out on all of them, especially the ancient history and ancient culture ones. Though there is a subset of people, especially women, that love the serial killer documentaries. What is that about, right? So when I saw a documentary on Amazon about Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, I was all in. I'm a huge I Love Lucy fan. I'm familiar with most of the issues that went on behind the scenes, and for a bonus, I saw that Amy Fowler was producing this documentary and my intrigue was piqued. And let me tell you, bravo. So well done. It isn't perfect, but honestly, I learned so much that I didn't know about the power couple and how they really developed a juggernaut that honestly, if kept intact, we could all be in a Desi-Lou world. Instead of Universal Studios theme park, it could have easily been called Desi-Lou. Or maybe even Disney being Desi-Lou World. Okay, maybe not Disney. What they created in such a short time was amazing. Now, I did know that they both came from nothing and made their own breaks and didn't rely on faith, but took their future in their own hands and created the chances they needed to end up finding each other and to allow the universe to work its magic. If they didn't meet and fall in love, Hollywood would look so different. We all know that they started or pitched the idea for I Love Lucy so they could be together and be able to spend time together and be a couple and a family since they were married, and because of that, the rest is history. From the success of I Love Lucy, Desi and Lucille became the first modern power couple. We see that in today's world, but I think we all have forgotten the impact that they both had. I can only equate this as they were the Jay-Z and Beyonce back in the 50s. The power they amassed was not duplicated until recent or more modern times. The speed that they developed a dynasty in about 10 years or so was utterly amazing and revolutionary. Desi's innovation was why modern sitcoms use live studio audiences and not laugh tracks. Desi also used 3 cameras in I Love Lucy as opposed to the 1 camera used in those times. And that model has and is currently used in sitcoms and movies today. Also, when Lucy was pregnant with their second child and could not work, this gave birth to reruns. And networks just ran reruns during the time Lucille Ball could not work and record. Just fucking brilliant for those times. Modern actors and actresses owe them a huge amount of thanks for the multi-millions that they earned due to reruns of those shows. A great example is Friends, and how the Friends cast is still getting paid millions of dollars in royalty for the reruns of that show. Many only give them credit for how they changed the sitcoms and shows, but they changed movies also, not only for the adaptation of using multiple cameras, but they also gave birth to the modern studio lots and how they recorded multiple movies in those studios at one time. Just amazing. Desilu Studios was responsible for some of the most iconic TV shows and movies of that time that created the modern fan as we know them. This documentary was so well done. They used audio tapes and used Desi and Lucille's own word to tell this fantastical tale that honestly gives it more depth, as it is not only stories from others that can be embellished. They also use home videotapes that give us a look at the love they had for each other and gives us a glimpse at their life outside of the Hollywood life. A story of them before they met, during and after they divorced, until the end when Desi dies and 3 years later Lucille Ball dies. Now, this documentary isn't perfect. They put more emphasis on Lucille Ball, as they should. What she did in that era where women were not seen able to do comedy or to be the cornerstone to such a successful project or show. She changed the game, no question about it. But they made out Desi as a drunk that could not deal with the separation. But in this very own documentary, we are told that Desi, in his own words, that he wanted the separation and requested it. Lucille Ball just acted on that request. And in that, it is powerful, but it made her look more vindictive. Now, it might be because this documentary was made with more of a woman empowering eye, but honestly, Lucille does not need that special treatment. What she did in her life speaks for itself. But to be fair, Desi put her in that position to be able to be the pioneer that she was. She was the first woman that ran a huge production studio like Desilu Studios, but that was only due to Desi's alcoholism and how Lucy bought him out. In this very documentary, we are shown how she didn't like that aspect. She loved the creative process, but not the business side of things where Desi Arnaz thrived. Don't get me wrong, Desi didn't like it, but there is no question as the fruits of his labor paid off and the juggernaut he created. Hollywood royalty and can be categorized as such, the first royal couple of Hollywood. And this all happens out of chance and for love. And what they created and how they changed Hollywood forever, we are all better for it. For me, this documentary gets an A rating. But those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And like always, that's a wrap. Lucy, you got some splaining to do.